Next session, I couldn't be more excited to introduce you to my friends at Cinsyr, Antoun and Mike. I've had the privilege of working with Cinsyr on a few projects, one of which is my agency's new facility, office and studio space. They just happen to be located in Syracuse. They have global experience, and I thought it would be great. I feel like I'm introducing you to the band that nobody knows about yet, that pretty soon is going to be like Coldplay or 21 Pilots. Let's see, we've got two of you on today, so it's 21 Pilots. And then, you know, I'll stop following you guys because you sold out and now you do business with the big people, and it'll be that whole fun thing. But I digress. So Antoun, Mike from Cinsyr Creative Group, welcome to the show today. Thanks for putting some thought and something together for the whole automotive industry.
Hey, thank you for having us, man. We really appreciate it. We're excited.
Yeah, you're awesome, Paul. You guys are doing an awesome job. Glad to be part of this whole entire panel. I mean, incredible insight. We're super pumped to contribute. So thanks again. This is awesome.
Very, very cool. Nice COVID beard, by the way. So what I really want to get into is like, just give me a quick, you guys have a slide deck to present. So I'm going to let it switch over to the slide deck because I think this is the most impactful thing we can do for the industry. I want to give you the time to talk through retail experience, and then let's start imagining the what ifs over the horizon, because we all know in automotive that the showroom isn't going to close forever. People are still going to interact, and I think you're going to help us open our minds a little bit to what that may be.
Sounds good. Just to step back a little bit, Mike and I are the co-founders of Cinsyr. We leverage communication design and spatial design to create an immersive branded experience at retail. And that's obviously what we're talking about. So I'm going to jump in, as Paul, you mentioned, share my screen and
Great.
Jump into the presentation here. Can you see my screen?
We can. We're good to go.
We're good to go. All right.
I'm really hoping that like somebody sends you an embarrassing message right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, turn notifications
off. What we're going to do
off.
is obviously talk about the state of retail and getting specifically in the state of retail automotive. This is obviously a peek over the horizon and what's going to happen. As I mentioned before, at Cinsyr, we specialize in understanding shopper behavior. And our expertise basically help us create brand experiences that are memorable for your customers, your shoppers, that obviously you want to turn heads and drop jaws. This is some of the, obviously, retailers we worked with. As you can see, at different segments, we've done work in automotive, we've done work with CPG companies, financial companies, and groceries. As humans, obviously, we all enjoy the experience at retail. And what makes us human, we want to touch, we want to feel, we want to smell and taste. It's in our nature. And the idea is we want to discover and want to explore. And in this post-COVID era, that kind of creates a little bit of limitation at retail. And I'm going to talk about that in the next slides.
So obviously, in our current day, consumer behavior has really shifted, just crazy fast. And as you can see, there's a couple snippets of what that experience is to date. Yes, we're now, in our phases to reopen. So there's going to be more experiences that are going to have to adapt. But obviously, when we all go to the store and have been going to the store for the past couple months during this pandemic, this is what we're accustomed to. Now, it was complete shock at first. There was such overt messaging, all the social distancing cues, the signage, stand here, wait there. Now you can come forward. Please social distance, keep 6 feet, 8 feet from, or 8 steps from going upstairs. There's all this kind of overt and very, very kind of like over the top, in your face, very off-brand messages. And so what these messages and experiences that we have seen, I mean, all that does is just add to the level of anxiety amongst everyone, right? So the shopping experience has been lost. It's more just get in, get out. Oh my gosh, am I going to be okay?
Right.
But what we need to do is we need to reconnect with that human engagement, that connection. It's so critical, even during this time. And so as you look, I mean, even some of the things, you know, they're sanitizing in between each interaction. So fast forward to 2 months later to where we are today, all of those kind of very scared behaviors at first, now they're all normal. You know, masks are required, stores and retail outlets are kind of controlling capacity. You're seeing sanitizing stations everywhere, and it's just kind of second nature. It's all part routine. You know, there's controlled flow throughout the space just to kind of help enforce that social distancing. Again, you know, a lot of that communication is seen through plexiglass partitions. It's all about the safety of the shopper, the consumer, the employee. All of those interactions are now moving to a touch-free sense. But again, these are all normal now, whereas before they were kind of a shock to the system. So the one thing that we need to focus on is how do we kind of move and shift from the scare to more of a care? You know, the brands that we are and what we offer to our audience and identify, we don't want any of that to lose that trust, that care. I mean, now more than ever, so to speak, is where it needs to come to play. Get that understanding that we're here, we're with you, we're going to adapt to the experience to date, and it's going to evolve, you know, and through every step of the way across all brand touch points, you know, we're going to identify with you and give you that care and that understanding and that safety sense for you, so that you understand and identify back with our brand. So in a couple of these kind of what if scenarios, because again, we're still, you know, very, very in the, you know, in the guinea pig stage. You know, we don't know what's working. We have an idea of what's not working. But again, how do we evolve moving forward? So we've kind of taken these kind of what if moments in this deck to present to you. And we started to look at a couple of the brands, you know, that are currently out there. Obviously Subaru, they're more than a car company, and we gravitated towards them strictly because of that line and some of the things that they offer. They communicate that they're committed to improving the lives around us. They're dedicating to providing their customers with exceptional service, as all of us are. They're doing a really good job at just kind of communicating that message. So when we start to look and kind of sprinkle throughout their website, you know, we gravitated quickly towards this Subaru love promise. Again, it goes back to that more than a car company. That's a really nice hook for that connection, you know, back to human interaction. Now they have other causes and passions that kind of fall within that initiative, that utmost care. But what we did is we kind of latched on to this right here for our what if example, strictly because they have this love promise visual. How do they go the extra mile, or how could they? What if, you know, if someone is coming to their deal, you know, to their showroom, to their store for an appointment to test drive, drop off a car for service, what is that extra mile, you know, going to look like? Could they do something as simple as offer little care kits that supports their Subaru love promise, that it's all personalized, it's complimentary, it's got a disposable mask, gloves, wipes, etc. Again, what if it's just going that extra step? You pick up your car from the service, perhaps this is already in there for you to use at a later date. It's all just taking that step and kind of amplifying their initiative that they're already working with. So then we started to continue the line, you know, of our thinking of, well, what if they come to the dealership, the store? What does that look like upon check-in? Understanding that, you know, anxiety levels are going to be high in this pandemic age, in this post-pandemic age. What's it going to be like when I come in? Is it a mobile check-in? Knowing that our audience, you know, as you and a lot of the other, you know, great panels were talking about the digital speak, you know, what's the physical speak here? Do they come in knowing that there's different audiences? There's some that are just going to quickly come in and check in with their mobile and not have any contact with any of the dealer team members at all. Or what if the audience that's going to come in and still wants that human interaction? As you can see on the left, there's a come in with a check-in, and it's all kind of touch-free. Maybe it's motion activated. All that technology is available for us today. So can they kind of FaceTime or video chat with a team member that is in the office, that's right there on site? Again, holding the hand, so to speak, along the way, building that rapport, that connection, that trust. It's it's all that we've kind of built ourselves on.
You're so great. I just want to let you know we're coming into about the 2-minute warning here. So I want to make sure we see these next slides. They're so great.
Sure. So then as we start to transition into the actual dealer space, knowing that those aren't going away, how do we rethink that flow? And so we did some vision work for Sun Auto for a location they were opening, but now we've got to rethink about it differently. So when you walk in, you still want to present yourselves with, you know, a nice, relaxed space, comfort. You're going to get the assistance that you need, but yet things are going to be spaced out a little bit. And the floor plan to the right is kind of dictating that. How do we start to implement some of those social distancing, overt kind of signage and treatments, but yet fall in line with the brand? Do you integrate more floor cuts, transitions that kind of imply social distancing? So you're not just like, beating people over the head with stay 6 feet back. Again, mobile check-in, using a lot of plexiglass so that it still keeps the place really open, like you're part of the dealership. And then something that's very important now is all about disinfection. How do I know the vehicle is clean, either for a test drive, pickup, I'm coming in to get my car that's been serviced. Do we now give them the view into what our process is so that it is reassuring to our guests that they know this is a safe place, it's trusted, I can rely on them throughout this whole pandemic along, every step of the way, and that I trust them. Because really, at the end of the day, it's all about that connection, that human connection that we've all been talking about. It's so critical. We don't want any of that to get lost. So how do we take that extra step? Because seriously, it all kind of, ladders up to just, trust and safety at all these touch points. It's really the new handshake. And Paul, you've said it, we're human, and connection is like mission critical, really.
It is. Okay, so I know we're kind of like blasting through this. Key takeaway points, I think, for everyone to look at. So obviously everything looks great of what you designed, but the concepts of what you came up with, like, we need to start conceptualizing how we're going to reintegrate without being so sterile and so like this is just about safety. How do you integrate that with your brand, with your consumer experience? And from you being on the front end of retail a lot, like there's always a challenge. And now it's the how do we implement safety? I love that disinfection to perfection. That just makes it more human. That makes it more relatable instead of like disinfecting station, right? Like I don't want to go near that, right? But if all of a sudden you rebrand that as disinfection to perfection, all of a sudden it feels better. So I know we didn't have a lot of time today. We're going to get together and see what we can share with people after the fact, because I want to make sure people can get in touch with you and connect with you. You can connect with Cinsyr on LinkedIn. They're probably listed or tagged in our post, but it's Cinsyr, like Cincinnati, Syracuse is where it comes from. Cinsyr. Guys, thanks for let the cat out of the bag on what you're doing and what you're thinking of over the horizon. We'll be in touch soon, and just want to thank you for putting all this together.
Thank you for your time, Paul.
Hey, thanks, Paul.
Talk to you guys soon.
All right, thanks a bunch.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.